take birth again.
May
May
never take birth again.
May you never take birth again. Hare Krishna, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya eva cha Patitam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
grateful to be in association of all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prema Priya Mataji. Hare Krishna. Shall we start with the prayers?
Yes, I have uploaded mine, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So devotees, don't be in anxiety. Those whose upload or 1 or 2 questions are pending, will give time after the session. So let me share my screen. 1 second.
Just for your information.
Yes, P.S. Murthy Prabhuji.
Yes, for your information, I need a little more time.
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
10.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. That's fine. 1 second.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm making you the host. I've started live.
Okay, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nashtapraeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vamcha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome all Prabhujis, Matajis to this discussion session on Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 8 as part of Bhakti Vaibhav. So last time we saw that Lord Krishna, after establishing Maharaj Parikshit on the throne of actually as a sovereign king of the entire earth planet, he is now ready to depart to Hastinapur. And at that particular time, the third part of Canto 1, which were the questions by the sages of Naimisharanya. So first set of questions were the 6 questions. Second set of questions were about the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically about the author, how did Srimad Bhagavatam come about. And third set of questions were on the primary audience or the hearer audience of Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Parikshit. How did Maharaj Parikshit take his birth, appear in this world, and what were his activities? Subsequently, we will also discuss how he was an ideal king who chastised Kali and did not allow Kali's entry by his very stringent but still devotional governance, and how subsequently even the departure of Maharaj Parikshit was very glorious. Such great personalities, they appear in this world for a very specific purpose. They lead their life for a specific purpose, and they leave this world also with such honorable, for fulfilling such honorable missions of the Lord. So this lifetime of Maharaj Parikshit, right from his birth until his departure, forms the last part of Canto 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very, very important. We have discussed this earlier, that Srila Prabhupada himself mentioned that whatever my devotees need to go back home, back to Godhead, I have put everything of that in Canto 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So even if in our whole lifetime, we can repeatedly read, understand, and try to apply in our life teachings from Canto 1, we will be successful in our Krishna consciousness. We'll go back home, back to Godhead. So very, very important part. Specifically in this particular section, we will see teachings from the prayers, the learnings from the prayers of Queen Kunti. And then subsequently, when Maharaj Parikshit's activities, before they are described in great detail, we will also see in the next chapter when Lord Krishna, apparently based on his own arrangement, is not able to pacify the aggrieved king Yudhishthir Maharaj, who feels that he himself is the reason for all the massacre of millions of soldiers and Kshatriyas, what happened on the battle of Kurukshetra. Lord Krishna arranges for Yudhishthir Maharaj and all the Pandavas to dress very opulently, nicely, and be brought in front of Bhishma, who is another great devotee of the Lord, one of the 12 Mahajanas, and one of the Vasus, and one of the authorities on the process of devotional service, to guide Maharaj Yudhishthir on how an ideal king should govern the kingdom in service to Lord Krishna. So that part is also important. And then from Bhishma's instruction to Yudhishthir Maharaj, we will have lot of learnings, not just for an ideal king, but even for a common man. So that will come subsequently. So yes, in terms of the breakdown of this chapter 8, which is entitled Lord Krishna protecting Maharaj Parikshit and Queen Kunti offering prayers to Lord Krishna. So this chapter is broken down into 4 different sections. First section talks about how Lord Krishna acted exactly like a family member of the Pandavas, and we will see how he participated in different ritualistic activities as a part of Pandava's family, although he was not obliged to participate in any of these functions. Basically, he wanted to show his Bhakta Vatsalta towards Pandavas, which is the theme of all this chapter right from the beginning till the end, how Lord Krishna never left them alone. And then how when Lord Krishna was departing, another danger came upon the Pandavas family, where the last successor of the Pandavas dynasty, the child within the womb of Uttara, the grandchild of Arjuna and the Pandavas, Maharaj Parikshit, it came under danger from Ashwathama's throwing of Brahmastra, and Lord Krishna, how he protected them again. And then Queen Kunti offering her profound gratitude to Lord Krishna when he is finally departing to Dwarka, in a way begging him that all these difficulties that she and the Pandavas went through are much, much more easier to manage when Lord Krishna is present. So separation from Lord Krishna is more painful and fearful for her compared to all the calamities, endless calamities that she went through right from the Pandavas when they were the young children. So Queen Kunti is offering beautiful prayers which we'll go through. And finally, Lord Krishna trying to pacify Maharaj Yudhishthir, which will lead us to chapter 9, where we will discuss about prayers, not prayers, the teachings of Bhishma to Yudhishthir Maharaj and all of us. So that is the breakdown of the chapter. Any devotees have any questions from our previous discussion? Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna. Rasaragini Radhika Mataji, you have any question? Let me
Hare
make
Krishna,
you.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. One is, can you make me the co-host?
Yeah.
Second, thank you, Prabhu. And second thing is, see that Brahma Astra he sent, right? And after that only that was retrieved by Arjuna. And then they send them back, right? They remove his powers and they send them back. So where is the second one coming, Prabhu? We read it, but we could not.
So basically, after Ashwathama was given that apparent punishment and was let go by Arjuna, after leaving from that place, he committed another blunder by throwing a second Brahmastra.
That is after allowing him to go. After that, he does.
After
right?
that,
After removing.
yes.
Thank you. Hi.
Okay, so all right, let's begin now. So we would need to increase the pace in few verses, and we will reduce the pace, go more in depth into some of the verses, because otherwise it will take very long. So let's start with the recitation. Any devotees who would like to recite, keep your hands raised, then I can ask one by one. And especially we encourage devotees who typically don't recite to. All right. So we will start with Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji reciting the first verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Suta uvacha.
Suta. We will repeat after you. Suta uvacha.
Utavacha
Atate samparitanam.
Atha te samparitanam.
Naham
अथ ते सम्परीतानाम्
Udakam ichatam.
दातुं सकृष्ण गङ्गायां
Datum sa Krishna Gangaya.
पुरस्कृत्य ययुश्रियः
Translation, Mataji.
Suta Goswami said, thereafter the Pandavas, desiring to deliver water to their dead relatives who had desired it, went to the Ganges with Draupadi. The ladies walked in front.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So we see Lord Krishna, I think we will read one more verse and then we discuss. Having lamented over them, so now the Pandavas, along with Draupadi, all the family members, including Lord Krishna, have gone to the holy place to offer water in respect, to offer their respects to the departed souls and to offer Ganges water for them. Having lamented over them means the departed souls. And this was not just the Pandavas family, but even Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, for all the Kurus basically. As such, Pandavas also part of the Kuru dynasty. Having lamented over them and sufficiently offered Ganges water, they bathed in the Ganges, whose water is sanctified due to being mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. There sat the king of the Kurus, Maharaj Yudhishthir, along with his younger brothers and Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Kunti and Draupadi, all overwhelmed with grief. Lord Krishna was also there. So we see Lord Krishna is now playing part as one of the family members of the Pandavas. And although in his position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is not obliged to be partaking of all this. Hare Krishna, Devika Mataji, Radhika Mataji, help with the background sound.
I'm doing that thing. Hare
Okay. Hare Krishna. So we see that although he is not obliged for this, he is still participating due to his affection towards all the Pandavas family. And he's participating as if he is the nephew of Kunti, he is the younger cousin of Yudhishthir Maharaj, of Bhimasen, a contemporary of Arjuna, and an elder brother of Nakul, Sahadev. So he is joining them in all their performance of the rituals. And also we will see how he not only joins the Pandavas, but also counsels them nicely in order to bring them out of this agreement of this grief, along with the different sages. So this purport is important. We will request one devotee to read through the purport. Any other devotees also would like to read through the purport? Text 3. Gunashri Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Just the highlighted, Prabhuji, on the...
You can read the complete purport. It's not big.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation. There sat the king of the Kurus, Maharaj Yudhishthira, along with his younger brothers, and Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Kunti, and Draupadi, all overwhelmed with grief. Lord Krishna was also there. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought between the family members, and thus all affected persons were also family members, like Maharaj Yudhishthira and the brothers, Kunti, Draupadi, Subhadra, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and her daughter-in-law, etc. All the principal dead bodies were in some way or other related with each other, and therefore the family grief was combined. Lord Krishna was also one of them, as the cousin of the Pandavas and nephew of Kunti, as well as brother of Subhadra, etc. The Lord therefore was equally sympathetic towards all of them, and therefore he began to pacify them befittingly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Then in this subsequent verse, which we'll chant now, text 4, it describes how, because of losing their own near and dear ones, Hata Bandhun Suchar Pitan. Hata Bandhun means those who have lost their near and dear ones, the friends and the relatives, all the Pandavas, everyone in the family, they were very much stunned, shocked, and affected. and how Lord Krishna taught a very important way to come out of the grief. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that this the situation of agreement for the Pandavas is a great lesson for us. And through their example, we can also learn how whenever such a situation arises in our own life, we should also remember this philosophy and the points that are taught by Lord Krishna and all the sages to Pandavas. So we will go through this now. Any devotee would like to recite through the verse? We had one more devotee along with Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji. Lalita Vinodini Mataji, you want to recite?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, fourth one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sampayamasa munibir
Santvaya
Shantavayam vasamunibhe
Hatabandhun sucharpita
Santvayam asamunibe
Hatabandhun
Prabandhum
Sarpitam
Bhuteshu kalasya gatim
Bhuteshu
Kalasya
Kalasya
Gatim
Darshayanna pratikriyam
Darshayana
Prakriyam.
Translation.
Yeah, translation by Devendra Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Citing the stringent laws of the Almighty and the reactions upon living beings, Lord Sri Krishna and the Munis began to pacify those who were shocked and affected.
Yes.
Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. You can just
Purport?
go through the highlighted part.
Okay, fine. Purport by Devendra Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The yellow part, right? Yeah.
All
The
highlighted.
the stringent laws of nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be altered by any living entity. The living entities are eternally under the subjugation of the Almighty Lord. The Lord makes all the laws and orders, and these laws and orders are generally called dharma or religion. Oh, sorry, I'm reading all the other things.
That's fine. That's fine. No issue.
No one can create any religious formula. Bona fide religion is to abide by the orders of the Lord. The Lord's orders are clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita. Everyone should follow him, only all his orders, and that will make all happy, both materially and spiritually.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So here Krishna is along with the sages, they are guiding the Pandavas to bring them out of this state of agreement and being shocked by explaining to them that whatever happens in this world, how much ever unpalatable it may be to all of us in that particular context, we have to understand it as the will of the Lord. Just like the example is given in Bhagavad Gita, the occurrence of different seasons one after another, including the summer, the monsoon season, and the winter, how they occur one after another as per the order given by the Lord. And what we can do, we cannot stop the winter from appearing after the monsoon season. Probably we can try and protect ourselves with warm clothing, but the easier it is for us to submit to this order of the Lord, the easier it will be to adjust with whatever difficult situations that are appearing. And the stern we try to resist the order of the Lord, the more painful it will be for us. So similarly, Lord Krishna is explaining to the Pandavas and the Kurus, whoever are remaining, including Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, so on and so forth, that don't think that whatever has happened accidentally. That is very well the part and parcel, the part of the planning of the Supreme Lord, and so you should submit. We also see this same teaching being taught by Vidura when subsequently in the later part of Canto 1, he will come to the palace of Yudhishthira, in which Dhritarashtra was put up after the battle of Kurukshetra, and to explain to Dhritarashtra that his lamentation for having lost all his children, all his sons in front of him, is to be understood as part of Krishna's plan, and now he should learn his lessons and depart from that place and not stay there like a dog who is accepting the food given by the master, and even the dog remains grateful, but Dhritarashtra apparently had tried to harm Bhima and kill him even when Pandavas were feeding him. So Vidura strongly discourages Dhritarashtra from staying in the palace of Yudhishthir and accepting food from them, and in turn encourages him and Gandhari to renounce the world at the last stage of their life to focus their attention totally on Lord Krishna. So first part of the teaching we see is we accept the specific unpalatable happening in our life as the order of the Lord, as the will of the Lord, and that will make sure that surrendering ourselves to the will of the Lord will become easier rather than trying to be defiant, trying to contest the will of the Lord. It won't help us in any way. Then further it is mentioned, as long as we are in the material world, our duty is to follow the orders of the Lord. And if by the grace of the Lord we are liberated from the clutches of the material world, then in our liberated stage also we can render transcendental loving service unto the Lord. In our material stage, we can see neither ourselves nor the Lord for want of spiritual vision. But when we are liberated from material affection and are situated in our original spiritual form, we can see both ourselves and the Lord face to face. Mukti means to be reinstated in one's original spiritual status after giving up material conception of life. Therefore, human life is specifically meant for qualifying ourselves for the spiritual liberty. And there are many examples in the scriptures of devotees who, as well, before coming to the stage of pure devotional service, they went through all these different difficult circumstances. In fact, not that few went through all the examples. You show me one example from Srimad Bhagavatam of a devotee who has not gone through severe test in their own lives. Can you take a minute to think of various devotees examples that you know from Srimad Bhagavatam and try to find any devotee who has not had calamity in his or her life? Can anyone think of any devotee? And raise your hand if you can think of any case where the devotee had everything very hunky-dory, very easy, and no calamity in their lives.
Of course, Prabhu, I was thinking of Lord Shiva, but he is of different nature, right?
Even Lord Shiva, I can mention to you some of the various calamities, very embarrassing situation that Lord put him through. That, of course, and Lord Shiva took that situation to glorify Krishna rather than feeling embarrassed or awkward. We see in the after the churning of the milk ocean, when Mohini Murti comes out, and subsequently when Lord Shiva desires to have darshan of Lord Vishnu in the form of Mohini Murti, Lord Vishnu strongly discourages him that better don't have. But Lord Shiva is still insistent that he wants to see the power of the Maya Shakti of the Lord. And when Mohini Murti appears in front of Lord Shiva, we see that Mohini Murti makes Lord Shiva run through all the hermitages of great sages who were worshippers of Lord Shiva. So apparently it's a very awkward situation. Imagine he is a worshipable personality of all these sages, and they see their worshipable personality running after this woman and not even bothering about all external circumstances. So it was a difficult situation for sure. We also see not exactly a difficult situation of this level, but Lord Shiva, in a bit of miscommunication, beheading Ganesh ji when he was protecting the honor of Parvati by misunderstanding. There was misunderstanding where Ganesh ji did not allow Lord Shiva to enter the quarters, and subsequently Lord Shiva, after prayers of Ganesh ji as well as Mother Parvati, gave the elephant's head. We also see difficult situation for Lord Shiva when he was insulted by Daksha, and in the assembly of Daksha, of course, Lord Shiva is above this material honor and dishonor, but his own consort, Sati, when she took her own life by burning her body, that was definitely not an easy situation. So even for an ordinary personality, if we consider ourselves in that particular circumstance, it's definitely a calamity, right? Any other example anyone thinks of
King
any devotee?
King Ambarisha tested by Durvasa Muni.
Yes, so we are basically asking the opposite side. Can you think of any example of a devotee who did not have to face difficult situation?
No, no one, Prabhu.
No one. Absolutely.
No one.
The answer is no one. In
Yeah.
fact,
No one.
See, in Bhagavatam 10.888, it's Sri Bhagavan is Yasyaham Anugrahanami.
Harishati
Harishetathanam
Dhanam
Shani.
Shana. Yes.
Yajantasya Sadhana Dukkha Dukkha. If Lord want to give some
Special mercy.
special favor, special favor to someone, that dukkha, that means
He will take away everything.
miseries will come on top of.
Yes. So one thing all of us should agree and acknowledge is that having to face calamity is the part and parcel of being in this world, whether we are devotees or we are non-devotees. So sometimes devotees have this conception that because I have taken up to devotional service, I am insured by the Lord against all the material calamities. Not at all. The insurance exists in terms of if we take shelter of the Lord in that difficult situation, Lord Krishna will protect through the association of his devotees, through giving of the spiritual strength, so that we can go through the difficult situation and still not lose our faith like he did for the Pandavas, Queen Kunti, and all other great souls. But ultimately, one cannot deny the nature of this material world where calamities will happen invariably, whether we take up to devotional service or not. And then Lord Krishna and the sages subsequently explained to Yudhishthir Maharaj and all the Kurus there. This clearance of the misgivings of material existence at once takes place by the association with Lord's devotees, who are able to inject the transcendental sound into the depths of the bewildered heart, and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. That is a summary of the pacifying measures for those affected by the reaction of stringent material laws, exhibited in the form of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are insoluble factors of material existence. So first thing Krishna is teaching, understand it as the will of the Lord. Second thing he's teaching is don't stay on your own. Take shelter of the association of devotees if we want to get out of this phase of being severely affected during calamities. The victims of war, namely the family members of the Kurus, were lamenting the problems of death, and the Lord pacified them on the basis of knowledge. So before we go further, I believe there is a group activity. Let me just see. Yes, so the topic from text 5, it covers a different point, which is related to the protecting the honor and dignity of 5 important elements in a society. So that as well we will go through, but let me see if there is. Yeah, I think this group activity is after text 5. So we will request devotees to recite the verse Tarini Krishna Kanta Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Dandavat Mataji.
साधयित्वा जातशत्रो
जातशत्रो
सम्राज्यं कृतः वैहृतम् घातयित्वा सतो राज्ञ कच्छदायुषः
Translation. Yeah.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. The clever Duryodhana and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of Yudhishthira, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed and the unsurplus kings who joined with Duryodhana were killed by him. Others also died, their duration of life having decreased for their rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So one important point to note here is that although according to the scriptures, even including Bhagavad Gita, we learn that the duration of life of every living being who comes into existence in this material world is fixed. And for a person who is born, death is sure, Lord Krishna says. However, we also see in the Shastras certain circumstances where one can perform activities in a way which can actually reduce whatever duration of life one is supposed to live. And there are also nature of activities which, if Krishna wishes, if Krishna grants, then a devotee would also get a more duration of life than what was originally granted. If Krishna feels that that duration of life will make the devotee fulfill his devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. So both, although the birth and death are sure in the normal course of time, there are activities, both sides, which can reduce our duration because of wrong deeds and which can increase the duration. Of course, the second should not be our purpose. Our purpose should be to fulfill devotional practice in whatever lifetime that has been granted by the Lord. But Lord Krishna definitely in exceptional scenarios can extend the duration as needed. So the important words in this particular verse are Yudhishthir Maharaj is described as Ajata Shatroho. Ajata Shatro means that person who never has any enemies. He was not inimical to any person as such. He was called Ajata Shatru. And of such Ajata Shatru, Yudhishthir Maharaj, what was his and the Pandavas' rightful claim on the kingdom? It was usurped by the unscrupulous kings, including Dhritarashtra and his sons led by Duryodhana. And Ghata Itva Sato Rajnyaha. And by destroying all these kings, unscrupulous kings, Yudhishthir Maharaj, based on the will of Lord Krishna, was again reinstated as the sovereign king of the earthly planet. And when this was happening, some of the foolish of these unscrupulous kings, what did they do? Kacha sparsha kshata yushaha. Kshata means harm, to reduce, diminish. They reduce their own span of life by improperly handling of the hairs of Draupadi, which is typically referring to the Dushasan insulting Draupadi. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains the 5 different entities within society, including the Brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children, and the old men. And these are also described in Bhagavad Gita. Why these 5 elements in the society, these 5 entities, they need to be taken very, very special care of. And we will quickly go through these 5 entities, and then we will also go a bit more into detail about the responsibility of overall society, not just the administrators, everyone in general, to specifically honor and respect a chaste lady, and how misfortune befalls on a person if he disrespects, insults, offends a chaste lady. It can even reduce the duration of one's life. So we will go through. These are the instructions which are very common given in the Niti Shastra as well as Bhagavad Gita as well as Srimad Bhagavatam. So why these 5 entities should be protected properly? First is the Brahmanas. To maintain the Vedic culture, they maintain the institution of Varnashram. So they are considered as the top level in the 4 Varnas. So they need to be protected to protect the most scientific culture for attainment of spiritual life, spiritual perfection. Then cows need to be maintained because they give the most miraculous form of food, which is milk, which is needed for 2 things. One is for enriching the brain tissues so that they become favorable for the practice of Krishna consciousness. And second is milk also is the source of various ingredients being used in the Vedic sacrifices, namely ghee and so on and so forth. So if cows are not protected, we will not have milk. If milk is not there, we can't have ghee, and which is a very important ingredient in performance of the yajna practice. So both these reasons. Then protection of the women class to maintain the purity within the society, to maintain the chastity of society, to get good progeny, which is responsible for peace and tranquility of the overall society. And this is explained in Bhagavad Gita as well. If women are unprotected, then obviously we will have progeny which will create lot of disturbance and trouble in the society. And fourth is the protection of the children, so that which gives the human form of life its best chance to prepare the way of liberty from material bondage. So if children are protected, then they will grow into responsible citizens and subsequently, hopefully, grow into devotees. Otherwise, such unprotected, basically, one common thread we can find even in our modern day and life. Many of the, you can see the top brass of the criminals in the society, you will find a common thread. Many of them have had very troubled childhood. Of course, that cannot be used as a justification for them to create disturbance in the society. But if the children have disturbed childhood in their early life, there is a good chance that they will go astray in their life and will tend towards crime and so many other things. They will have very troubled relationships because of those impressions that they carry in the childhood. And that's why it is also the responsibility of the parents to act very responsibly in front of the children, not to act in a way harshly, disrespecting their spouse, shouting, screaming, insulting, so that it would form a very different trouble impressions on the child's innocent mind, and then subsequently children will have issues when they grow up. So it's very, very important to protect them. And finally, protection of the old men, so that in the last stages of their life, they can focus their attention solely on practicing Krishna consciousness to prepare for the next life. So within these 5 classes, specifically the woman, the chastity of a woman to be protected and honored is given a lot of importance in the scriptures. So this question was asked as part of the Bhakti Sadachar 3-day course, which is conducted, now it is conducted from ISKCON Mangalore side, but this course is also conducted across various educational institutions within ISKCON. So Bhakti Brahad Bhagwat Swami Maharaj, he also conducts this course from many years, Bhakta Sadachar. And one of the topic he covers is in terms of properly protecting and honoring women in the society. And society, that means it begins from right at our home. So Maharaj asked a very typical question as part of the group discussion. What would happen if, and within the, like when we say woman in the family, it includes everybody, the daughter, the mother, wife, and everybody else. Maharaj asked this question, what happens if we are very harsh in our dealings, if we insult, if we deal with the woman in the family in a angry, in a non-courteous way, then what would be the result? Prabhuji's, Mataji's, anybody would like to volunteer to say? What happens if the man in the family is not following the basic courtesy in dealing with the woman? Reena Mataji, Hare Krishna. Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
All matters at home get vitiated, Prabhuji. The atmosphere is totally lost.
Yes, and yes, it is true. And what would be the first effect if a father is always very strict and, chastising to daughter? Basically, the sons and the daughters, their metaphysical nature, their thought process is totally different. So the way we discipline different children is also not the same. What would happen if the father is very, very severe towards daughter? Yes, Reena Mataji, you want to unmute? Or any other devotee?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
So in
Krishna.
front of the father, they would follow Prabhuji. Like if father is not there, then so they will do like whatever they want, Prabhuji.
Yes. So one thing which would happen is they will not feel protected. They will not feel sound and protected to open up in front of father next time. Or
Fear lurking in the house. Yeah.
Yes. And fear, and same thing will happen also with the spouse, with wife not feeling protected enough to open. And then whenever anything wrong or whenever there is any doubt, what should be done? Whenever there is any doubt, either for the child or for the mother, that is the leading lady in the family, then they would try to act based on their own discretion. They probably will not have the additional guidance, the vision or the discretion that should be there from the leader of the family, and they can go astray on their path. So if we are very harsh in dealing with the family woman, then we are inviting trouble by making them feel unprotected, not open up, and it will eventually, as Mataji mentioned, it will vitiate the entire atmosphere in the family. The family will get disturbed and can get destroyed as well, as it happened in a very severe scenario. The family can be destroyed like it happened with the Kauravas. So this is a very, very important part of
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Adidev Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, could you please mention the name of the Maharaj again?
Oh, Bhakti Brahad Bhagwat Swami Maharaj.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Triple B Swami. Hare Krishna. So previously, before Maharaj taking sannyas, he was Brahad Mridanga Prabhu, and then subsequently after in sannyas initiation, became Bhakti Brahad Bhagwat Swami Maharaj. Then last part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada states, to insult a chaste woman means to bring about disaster in the duration of life. See, the scriptures are so strong in use of their words. It will definitely cause disaster in one's life if we are not careful about these basic principles which are given in the scriptures. To insult a chaste woman means to bring about disaster in the duration of life. Dushasan, a brother of Duryodhan, insulted Draupadi, an ideal chaste lady, and therefore the miscreants died untimely. Not only Dushasan, Duryodhan got punished, even those persons who were sitting in that assembly who remained passive, who did not openly protest, they were also punished by Lord Krishna. And some of them were great devotees. It is not that those devotees were at fault. It is Lord Krishna setting an example that even if somebody happens to be of the stature of Bhishma and Drona, of such great souls, because they stayed passive during this episode, they would also reduce their life. As simple as that. These are some of the stringent laws of the Lord mentioned above. So in the previous verse, we learnt about the laws of God in terms of happening of the calamities and how we have to accept it, deal with it, with that understanding with the association of the Lord's devotees. In this purport, we are learning about laws of God in terms of not strictly not disrespecting certain entities within the society, being very, very careful. And the topmost amongst them are the chaste ladies. So let's go to the group exercise now. The group exercise needs devotees to be bit thoughtful about the practical application of this concept. Hang on 1 second now. Do we need to read any part of the purport? Yeah, so this we have already read. So the group exercise is discuss the relevance of these principles. What are the principles? Protecting all these 5 entities within the society, including the Brahmanas, the cows, women, children, and old men. In our own lives and in ISKCON in general, of Srila Prabhupada's statement that to insult a chaste woman means to bring about a disaster in the duration of life. How Prabhupada's purport to this verse gives insight into his mission and that of ISKCON. how effectively we have implemented these 5 guidelines in terms of protecting the 5 entities within the society, within ISKCON. So you have to give some thought. The setup of ISKCON as the institution, what all initiatives has Srila Prabhupada and subsequently his devotees have implemented to protect these 5 classes of important entities and not to let them get exploited. Okay, is the question clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, what needs to be done? Let me put it on the chat. So where is the chat? Anyone can help me find where do I, oh yeah, I found it here. Oops. Okay, so we will have around 5 minutes. The purport is very small, so you can quickly go through it in a minute or so, and then use 3, 4, 5 minutes to discuss various initiatives that ISKCON has come up with. Some of you may not be aware, but at least you can think that if ISKCON were to protect the children, what should be the initiative that we should have come up with? Same for the cows, same for the old men, and all other entities. Even if you can't cover all 5, whatever you can cover. Can we start the breakout rooms? Prabhuji, any questions? Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji, you can start.
Okay. All right. So how many devotees are there? We will have 3 breakout rooms. Okay. And take about, right now it is 10:57 India time. So take about 7 minutes to complete this discussion and then we come back to the main room. Hare Krishna. All of you can join the breakout rooms. Oops, sorry, I did not.
Didn't get the
Oh,
message. Oh.
yeah. Hare Krishna. So do we have all the devotees? Yes. So who will be the devotees from group 1, which is Adidev Prabhu, Ananda Vilas, Keshav Prabhu, Gita Pradeep Mataji, Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji, Jagadananda Prabhu, Murli Prabhu, and so on. Who will be the devotee speaking? Yes.
I think I will. It was
Okay.
quite a silent one. I think
Oh.
mostly Aditya Prabhu was contributing. So he mentioned about the various schemes of ISKCON for protection of cows through Goshalas and ISKCO. Mentioned something like that. I remember it. Yeah. International Society for Cow Protection.
Yeah. So just
I'm
to
not sure.
yeah.
I was not sure about it. So I just wanted to have your clarification.
Yeah. So it is ISKCON Cow Protection Ministry. Okay. It's not a society. So ISKCON as an institution is one, but for cow protection, we do have a separate ministry and the group. Yes.
Then Gurukuls. Then you have the Gurukuls for the children to impart education. Yes. Then Vedic care homes for the old age. Yes. And for the women, of course, Srila Prabhupada has provided that everyone, women and men, are equal. So he has not differentiated anything. Yeah. Yeah. And lastly, on the point of Brahmanas, we have not really discussed this thing, anything else, but putting it this way, Prabhuji, from my perspective, what I look at is that these are the 5 weak materially, these are weak in the society. And one of the key parts is the society will be developed very well if you protect the weaker sections of the society, so that strengthening them by giving them the abilities to contribute as much as a strong person could. Yeah? And that is very important. And I think this is what even ISKCON is doing. That is what I understand.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And just not to let any Matajis be offended, see, by weak, I believe Prabhuji means the way which needs protection. Okay. In the Queen Kunti's section, you will find Srila Prabhupada's purport, where he is definitely highlighting the strengths of the women class in general, how they are endowed by the Lord in a way to make very quick advancement in terms of building of the faith in the process of devotional service, taking up to devotional service. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I meant physically weak.
Yeah.
Physically weak.
Understood.
It's not.
So, any other devotees from group 1? Vivek Sharma Prabhu, Venkata Narsimha Prabhu, Shama Gopika Mataji, Shailaja.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Adidev Prabhu, let Shama Gopika Mataji complete.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Shama Gopika Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Actually, this discussion was something like we're not sure, like especially for the like cow protection is okay because everyone knows like ISKCON is doing cow protection, and especially like the cows which are like injured also, they are not sent for slaughterhouses, and that is how the cow protection is done. And for the children, if we take, we need to impart Vedic education to the children. So not only Gurukuls, like even at the family level, we can impart like when we take them like regularly to the temple and impart the Vedic education to the children. Women part, I'm not sure about it, Prabhu. Maybe I need to, I want to hear from other devotees also. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Mani. And for children, just one point I also wanted to mention. I was in double mind whether to bring it up, that when International Society for Krishna Consciousness started, Gurukul was established, there were few not so pleasant happenings and the allegations. In some of the Gurukuls and subsequently the GBC, they took very stringent actions in ensuring that the governance of the Gurukul happens in such a way that no more such complaint repeat. And ISKCON also needed to pay a very hefty penalty because of the case which happened because of those allegations and all. So the point is, this is one. Second, so at the institutional level, it is taking a very stringent steps by creating a child protection ministry with overall governance setup. At the center level, we see Gopal's garden sections, or in different temples have seen different names for the initiative. Like in Pune, earlier we had Bhakta Prahlad school for the children to be taught in a very systematic manner for different age groups. Here in Singapore, we have Gopal's Garden. In Mumbai, Borivali, we have Gopal's Garden School, which is a CBSE affiliated school. In Pune, we have Bhaktivedanta Model School. So all these are different initiatives to provide an atmosphere for the children where they can flourish in their spiritual pursuits, at the same time get equipped to face the world in general by being properly qualified. So I would say these are also initiatives to protect and strengthen our children in the society. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just one point I want to add on the children's front. It is important to ensure that the children grow both with the material and the spiritual.
Yes. Yes,
that is what is missing in the current education system. The spiritual part is missing. That is, it is a lacuna which is there in most parts of the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Adidev Gopesh, Prabhu, you want to add something?
Yeah, Prabhu. And one more thing that like in the ISKCON Goshala, they don't give the cow to the like even if the cow is injured or the cow is old, they protect the cow till the last breath.
Yes.
And they don't give it to the place where it should not go.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. So now we will have group 2, which is, who will be the devotees from group 2? Hare Krishna. Ananda Prada Indulekha Mataji, Devika Mataji, Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, Divya Rukmini Mataji, Lalita Vinodini Mataji, and so many other devotees.
Prabhuji, we discussed the same things, but we also discussed that for Brahmanas, ISKCON provide that more Brahmanas by giving this education to the society. Same thing also for the elderly people. They provide this education so they can prepare for the better life after death, So Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all these things, So
yes, so in fact, there is a very wonderful point that you brought up. There is a saying in the scriptures, Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. Have you heard it, Ananda Prada Mataji?
Yes,
so, Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha means the Dharma protect those who protect the Dharma. ISKCON is implementing this principle by teaching all the members the Brahmanical way of life in terms of following cleanliness, external, internal. Previously, to be honest, I feel ashamed now. In our Karmi life, we did not even know that we have to take bath after responding to the call of nature. After having prasadam, we should wash our mouth. Of course, basic we used to follow, but wash our mouth thoroughly, wash our feet as well. Or say, for example, the standard of cleanliness that we need to follow in order to serve the deities, how to deal with Krishna in a personal manner. All of this was very, very out of the scope of our normal basic understanding and knowledge. But ISKCON as an institution, it has taught these Brahmanical principles. It has also taught, like Prabhupada has taught, how to maintain our cleanliness of the within, cleanliness of the mind, by regularly chanting properly, keeping our power of discretion strong by reading the scriptures, by following the regulatory principles. Otherwise, we were very raw before we came to the society. Can all of us agree on this point? That how ISKCON also teaches Brahmanical way?
Yes.
So this is for the Brahmanas. Any other point from group 2 for children, for women, for Brahmanas, cows, old men?
For women, I do not know, Prabhuji, if we have women rehab centers. I have not heard about counseling centers. It's most important because they're distressed at many times and they look out for help. They're very sensitive. In all these 5 classes we mentioned here, they're very vulnerable, physically weak also, but very pious. And once you help them out, they can do anything. So they need help. So children, there's plenty. Akshay Patra is there for food. And then Gurukuls, of course, are there. And then even as we see now, in all our temple programs, we see a lot of children participating in dramas, which are related with transcendental pastimes of the Lord and all that. That is there. Old people, of course, in Mayapur, Devika Mataji found out there's a old age home also. That's very nice. But I've not seen in many other places. But women, I think they need a rehab center. Goshalas are there for the cows. That's a very good note. So I feel that's one thing that
For women, I have observed two different ways and thought. So taking care of the woman is also important to stay consistent with the social setup. So specifically within ISKCON, we have places like Bhaktivedanta Manor in Watford, just outskirts of London, or ISKCON Soho Street Temple in London, where we have Mataji's ashram as well, separately. But Prabhupada did not encourage this within the India society setup because Prabhupada felt the society will not be very welcoming. So meaning the few temples outside, they do offer facility for ladies if they want to dedicate their life completely in service to Lord Krishna, and temple will take care of everything, their day-to-day maintenance and all. But this Prabhupada did not found very suitable. Indian society, it will be a bit difficult to implement. But there are other initiatives that ISKCON is coming up with, not just for the ladies as well, but for the elderly men, like Varnashrama system, we have Vanaprasthas. So these members of the society are also given sufficient facilities to stay, be protected about their day-to-day maintenance and contribute actively to the society in places like Govardhan Eco Village, Wada, for example. So I agree with you. These initiatives are still at a very nascent stage when it comes to protection of the woman or even old people, but yeah, these are in progress.
And one thing, Prabhuji, what I've heard is in ISKCON Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, he insisted that all the ladies should get married.
Yes, but as the temples that I just mentioned, there are few places where the facility is offered. If they want to dedicate their life completely in service, then they can do so. Okay.
That's nice. Thank you.
And one more point I wanted to mention for women protection, Prabhupada also taught us, gave us Bhakti Sadachar, that how to deal. Say, for example, we used to follow the normal courtesy in dealing with the external world, but scriptures taught us, Bhagavatam teaches us that how we should be careful even when we are devotees. Like Bhagavatam teaches in the section that how one should not stay in a solitary place, even with one's mother, with one's daughter, one's sister, etc., because the senses can drive away intelligence of even a educated man if one is not careful. So that I came to know only after coming into the society. So it teaches us how to deal with even our relations in close proximity, like this concept of one being very extra careful in dealing with women even in our own house, including one's daughter, sister. That is also taught as part of the philosophy within ISKCON. So I would say that is also part of women's protection, Bhakti Sadachar, how to deal with the Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we have, yes, Murli Prabhu.
One more point, Prabhuji, we should also look at from the perspective that society itself has various rules and regulation laws. Okay, following this would also be following in a way the overall, I mean, since ISKCON follows within the ambits of the society's rules and laws, therefore in that way also it is promoting it. Okay, so that is the second point I look. This is a secondary view. There are primary ones, but also there is secondary effect, which is important. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Group 3.
I also mentioned about the begins with the Garbhadan Sanskar. So is the ISKCON providing these books also? Because I know I have seen the books from ISKCON for Garbhadan Sanskar. I don't know if this.
Basically, not as a books, but these you will find if you want to see in detail explanation, instructions on this. We have a book within ISKCON called 12 Samskaras, which covers the samskaras from womb to the tomb. So it has details on Garbhadan Samskar. We also see Garbhadan Samskar details mentioned in Srila Prabhupada's purports, and Prabhupada has kept it very simple. He has not kept it in terms of very difficult to follow rituals. Simply, husband-wife should chant 64 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, take permission from the spiritual master before inviting a soul within the family. And literally, like we can guide to our next generation that we will be surprised to see what quality of these devotee children come about if father, mother really put proper effort in preparing their consciousness to bring a child into this world. So I would say that is also a very important aspect of protecting these members, that while we are bringing a soul into this world, we are taking care to invite devotee children who can contribute positively to the society. So group 3, Prem Prakash Haridas Prabhuji, you and any other devotees from the group who would like to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Entire group discussed at length and all the members contributed. I'm just simply summarizing their views. So I don't take any credit, it's all the group. The group came up with the idea, and I'm only telling you the additional points. The other points which are covered, I am trying to avoid it.
Yes.
Came up with the idea that ISKCON is insisting on observing the 4 regulatory principles. And these 4 regulatory principles, one or the other way, are protecting all these 5 weaker groups that we are talking about. When it says that meat eating is not allowed, the cows are automatically protected. When we say illicit sex should not be allowed, the women are given protection. And similarly, for the intoxication and gambling, children, Brahmana, and all other people are protected. So this is the biggest revolution that ISKCON has brought about in protecting all the 5 weaker areas of the society. The women especially were given the special attention, and we consider Prabhupada as one of the revolutionary acharya, because he allowed women in the congregation, he allowed women to become priests, and he is now allowing the marriages and begetting a Krishna conscious children, including a family planning of getting the responsibility of getting liberation for the children. About the cows, the gaushalas, the farming, and the old cows are always never allowed to go away. They are always kept until their last breath. And children, having the Krishna conscious children is a part of the mission of the ISKCON. An elderly having many Vedic old homes across some part of the world. Brahmanas are also protected because of the 4 regulatory principles. So these are the points that we covered in addition to whatever has been already said, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Prema Prakash Haridas Prabhuji. And just one point I want to add, that all of you will be surprised to see that this is also mentioned in the scriptures, that if these sections of the society, whatever have just been mentioned, if they stay happy and joyful in practice of their Krishna consciousness, automatically good fortune will follow. We don't have to do anything separate. Just make sure that the family members and these sections within the family, within the society, they stay happy. Prabhupada said, if cows are happy, whole society will flourish. If Brahmanical culture is protected, whole society will flourish. And same also within the home. If the woman of the family is kept protected and happy, fortune will definitely follow. Nothing else has to be done. And even if a person may be pakka following all the rules and regulations, but is very harsh in his dealings and keeping the children, women in a state of fear, then as Prema Priya Mataji also mentioned, it will pollute the whole atmosphere of home. And it cannot be a happy home for sure. So these are some of the practical
Prabhuji, yes, one more thing. In ISKCON, in Mangalore ISKCON, I think everywhere it is there, we have separate classes for the kids separately, for the elderly separately, and for the, so that also helps, in educating them at their level.
Yes,
in spirituality.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So any other devotees have any questions, comment based on what we discussed? Hare Krishna. 1, 2. Oops, sorry, 1 second. How do I remove? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Shamagopika. Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, just wanted to add one point, the conclusion, like, because ISKCON is giving, ISKCON is helping us to go on the path of bhakti. And there is a verse, right? Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. So actually, when all of us go on the path of bhakti, no, naturally the good qualities will come inside within us, and then in that case, like, we will try to see everyone as equal and not commit any blunders on them. And we personally see this, like, the change which came within us before and after, like before following the path and after following the path.
Yes. And specifically, just one point is, as we say, charity begins at home. Sometimes there are examples of devotees who are very nice to the outsiders. But when it comes to dealing with the own family members, one is sometimes very rude, harsh. So yes, we have to implement all these teachings within our home first. Yeah, especially for Prabhujis, all the Prabhujis. Hare Krishna. So I'll just mention one thing, that in our Bhakti Shastri setup one time, Janaki Mataji, who used to administer, she asked that you are so humble. I said, I will agree only if you ask my wife, and then she agrees, then I will agree. How can I give feedback on myself? So for all the Prabhujis, we have to get our feedback from our spouses, our children. They are the right persons to really say how much we are following. Hare Krishna. So we proceed now. Any other points, questions? We proceed. Hang on now. Oops. Yes. So now the glories of Yudhishthir Maharaj's fame compared to Indra is mentioned. So don't get confused. That's right now the Pandavas, they were performing rituals to offer respect to the departed souls. And where is this description of Lord Krishna asking Yudhishthir Maharaj to perform the sacrifices is coming? So basically there is some gap between these two incidences, but Suta Goswami is not describing them like in a immediate sequence, that this thing happened immediately after offering of the oblations of water. So Suta Goswami is moving to the next episode. Maybe we'll go through the verse first. Any devotee wants to read through who has not spoken? Gita, Pradeep Mataji, you can directly read the translation.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yajayitva swamedvastam. Shall I?
You can read the translation, Mataji, so we'll cover more than.
Okay, only translation.
Yeah.
Lord Sri Krishna caused 3 well-performed Ashwamedha Yajnas, horse sacrifices, to be conducted by Maharaja Yudhishthira, and thus caused his virtuous fame to be glorified in all directions, like that of Indra, who had performed 100 such sacrifices.
Thank you. Thank you. So here the comparison of Yudhishthir Maharaj's opulence is made with respect to Indra. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that material prosperity wise compared to Indra, Yudhishthir Maharaj is no match for Indra. He is several times more opulent than Yudhishthir Maharaj. But still, just by performing 3 Ashwamedh Yagyas versus Indra having performed how many? How many Yagyas he has performed?
100.
100. Yes. In fact, that is one of the qualification for becoming Indra, and Indra is very insecure whenever somebody approaches that qualification. So comparison wise, there is no comparison in terms of number of Ashwamedh Yagyas performed. But still, the prosperity and fame of Yudhishthir Maharaj is considered many more times than Indra. Why? Because of Yudhishthir Maharaj being a completely surrendered soul unto Lord Krishna. And Prabhupada writes, The reason is that Maharaj Yudhishthir was a pure devotee of the Lord, and by his grace, that means by Krishna's grace, only was King Yudhishthir on the level of the King of Heaven, even though he performed only 3 yagyas, whereas King of Heaven performed hundreds. That is the prerogative of the devotee of the Lord. In fact, in the conversation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Ramananda Rai, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, what is the topmost fame? And Ramananda Rai mentioned that the most famous is he who is known as the devotee of the Lord. And in front of that credentials, no other credential within the world can stand. So even the billionaires of this world, they cannot be considered as famous in front of one who is truly known as the sincere devotee, pure devotee of the Lord. So we proceed. Yes. So subsequently we see that Lord Krishna prepares for his departure. Departure to where? Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Departure to Dwarka. Yes. Because in the 10th canto, we also see different prayers by the residents of Dwarka who pray to Lord Krishna, just like for a blind man, the sun is of no use. Why? Because to take benefit of the sun, of course, one can still get heat and warmth. Even the blind man can get. But the full benefit of the sun is available for a person who has got vision. So they say that what is the use of the sun if the person is not having vision? Similarly, they compare their own position, that what is the use of us living if the leader of the Yadu dynasty, Lord Krishna, is not available within us. Then in such a way they explain their despondency being in separation from Lord Krishna. So considering the desire of the Dwarka Vasis because of Lord Krishna being away from them for so long, Lord Krishna has now decided to depart from Hastinapur and return back to Dwaraka after fulfilling his mission of establishing Pandavas and Yudhishthir Maharaj as the sovereign king. Then all the Brahmanas headed by Vyasadev and all, they come to offer their respects to Lord Krishna, worship Lord Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, as per the Varnashram setup, Lord Krishna being a Kshatriya is based on the social custom, is not allowed to accept worship from the Brahmanas who are a superior class based on the Varnashram system. But Lord Krishna is allowing them to worship him just to reciprocate with their feelings, because Vyasadeva and all these Brahmanas, they know Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So just to please them, Lord Krishna is accepting honor from the Brahmanas led by Vyasadeva. And Srila Prabhupada also concludes that Lord in general, he follows all the social customs so that others are set a very good example to follow. Yes, so we will go through in detail for more important verses. As soon as he seated himself on the chariot to start for Dwaraka, he saw Uttara hurrying towards him in fear. So this is an important verse. The words that are used by Suta Goswami are Upalebhe Abhidhavantim. Dhavantim means she rushed towards Lord Krishna. She Dhavantim, where is it mentioned? Yeah. Upalebe Abhidhavantim. She saw Lord Krishna sitting on the chariot and she rushed towards Lord Krishna. She came hurriedly because of having seen something which was very fearful and dangerous. Any devotee would like to read through this highlighted part of the purport and the next verse, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna. Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji and Jagadananda Murari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Translation, highlighted part.
It's a small one. You can read the complete one.
All the members of the family of the Pandavas were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord. And therefore the Lord protected all of them in all circumstances. The Lord protects everyone, but one who depends completely upon him is especially looked after by the Lord. The father is more attentive to the little son who is exclusively dependent on the father.
Thank you, Mataji. So important point to note here is that who is Uttara? What is her position? Hare Krishna.
Wife of Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu's wife.
Yes, Abhimanyu's wife and daughter-in-law of Arjuna, who was the greatest warrior at that particular point in time. And along with Arjuna, there were standing Bhima, who was the greatest club fighter, and there were also Yudhishthir, Nakul, and Sahadev. Despite so many great warriors from the Pandava side, led by Arjuna himself, being present there, Bhagavatam mentions that Uttara is naturally rushing towards whom? Towards Lord Krishna for protection. And this is one point, that Uttara is naturally rushing towards Krishna for protection. Second point is the Pandavas did not feel offended or did not feel insecure. That, look, Arjuna did not say that, hey, she is my daughter-in-law. If there are any issues, concerns, problems, shouldn't she first come to me for resolution? If I can't resolve it, then probably she can go to Krishna or anybody else that she wants. But the Pandavas, as we will see subsequently in the subsequent verses, they did not object to Uttara rushing to Krishna for protection because of the danger that she had just seen. So, Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji, please continue. Text 9.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Uttara uvacha.
Uttara uvacha.
Pahi pahi mahayogin.
Pahi
Pahi Mahayogin.
Deva deva jagatpate.
Deva Deva Jagatpate.
Anyam tad abhayam pashe.
Nanyam Abhayam Pashe.
Yatra mrityu parasparam.
Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Thank you. We will go through translation in a while. So Uttara is praying to Lord Krishna that Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate. So this repetition of the words is not a literary fault from Uttara's side or from Bhagavatam side. It is the danger that she sensed, and she felt an immediate need to approach Lord Krishna and get his protection. So just like Draupadi's prayers, she is also praying very desperately when she was in a helpless situation. Similarly, in this episode, we see Uttara also in a desperate, helpless situation and directly, naturally approaching Lord Krishna without any inhibition, whether she should go to Arjuna first or Bhimasen next and all other Pandavas. She is naturally, directly approaching Lord Krishna. And she describes this world as Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Yatra Mrityu Parasparam, that means this world is a place of duality. Parasparam means each particular person is causing some issue or even death to other person, of course, who is not a devotee. And sometimes even within devotees, we see clashes, misunderstanding, differences of opinion. So Uttara is describing to Lord Krishna this world as full of dualities. And since Lord Krishna is the only person in this world who does not have these dualities within him. Dualities, that means, whether he should protect or he should ask the Pandavas to protect, or whether he should consider one particular aspect of what is happening. He is completely in sync. He is completely aware of everything that is happening in the world. And Uttara has complete faith in his protection, in his capability to protect her. So she is directly approaching Lord Krishna. Maybe we'll ask one more devotee. Shama Gopika Mataji, you wanted to share something?
Yes, Prabhu. I just wanted to share that the point that you brought up, right? Like Uttara, when all the Pandavas were present, she went directly to Krishna. So whenever there is a danger, Pandavas actually would go to Krishna first. And then just like in chapter 7 also we saw that verse, right? Krishna Krishna Mahabhaga. So in that also, like Krishna, Arjuna is praying to Krishna first when Brahmastra was being by Ashwatthama. And there also like this double time, like Krishna Krishna, he was saying that because of the danger. Yeah, just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing out, Mataji, very important that each, and we will see Srila Prabhupada's purport also, that each and every member of the Pandava family, they were all pure souls, pure devotees of the Lord. So whenever difficulty, straight away approach Krishna. And everybody knew that Krishna is not just our cousin, our brother-in-law, our nephew. First, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they were completely surrendered. Aishwarya Subhadra Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hi Krishna Prabhu, Pranam Prabhu. Just want to share how this sloka is very personal to me. When I was undergoing the pregnancy and there was so much complications, one Mataji from JPSE Care from Mayapur, she told me chant this sloka every day 3 times.
This
morning
sloka?
and evening.
This
This
sloka?
sloka, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpade Nanyatadabhim Pashyeti Mrityu Parasparam. So she's like chant this sloka morning and evening 3 times. And Krishna, how he protected Parikshit Maharaj in the womb, he's going to protect the baby. So trust me, Prabhu, this sloka really helped me even when I landed up to an emergency cesarean section and the baby was little preterm in the ICU. But this sloka really helped. So I request everyone to recommend this to all the pregnant Matajis. It really helped, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. And see, this is the intelligence of the devotees, that when the situation demands, they know where to take shelter. They are not in two minds. They are not in split minds. In fact, as Mataji mentioned, there is also a house program which I attend here. I go there every fortnight, where almost 3 to 4 ladies, they are expecting child, and without fail, every program they will show up. That means that is good, right? They are careful for their children, that the child within the womb should get full benefit of discussion about Krishna. So devotees are always focused on taking shelter. Any devotees who would like to read through Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna. Rohini Mataji, yes. Others can also keep their hands raised. So we'll ask. Yes, Rohini Mataji. Translation.
Translation. Uttara said, O Lord of the Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality.
Yes, you can proceed with the highlighted part.
Yes, Prabhuji. This material world is for the world of duality, in contrast with the oneness of the absolute realm. The world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of material qualities. The pink one also, Prabhuji?
Yes.
In the world of duality, everyone is envious of all others, and death is inevitable due to the dual existence of matter and spirit. The Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the surrendered soul. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord.
Yes, thank you. So why is this world called a place of duality? Because of the envious attitude of each and every conditioned living being. Each and every person considers other person as a competitor in his or her own pursuit of happiness. And because of this envious attitude of the conditioned souls, each entity is a threat to other living entity, and sometimes it also results in killing, like Ashwatthama is doing in this case, which is so, what is the word that we use? Despicable, which is so awful that, Pandavas have just let him go. He has previously killed Draupadi's children, and despite the same lady, Draupadi, praying for his life and protecting his life, to her own daughter-in-law, Ashwatthama is doing this. Being envious of the Pandavas, he is releasing Brahmastra to kill the innocent child within the womb of Uttara, the last remaining successor of the Pandava dynasty. Not only Pandava dynasty, the Kuru dynasty. Nobody else was alive. So we proceed. Yes, then Uttara subsequently continues her prayers. O my Lord, you are all powerful. A fiery iron arrow is coming towards me fast. My Lord, let it burn me personally if you so desire. But please do not let it burn and abort my embryo. Please do me this favor, my Lord. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that Uttara was wife of Abhimanyu. And when Abhimanyu died on the 9th day of the battle of Kurukshetra, based on the custom at that particular point in time, Uttara was also supposed to, not supposed to, but she was free to join her husband on the funeral pyre. And she did not join her husband Abhimanyu only because she was carrying the child within her womb. So Uttara was worried now, if for the very purpose for which I am alive after the death of my husband, if that purpose is lost, if that child is not saved, then what is the use of me living? So here Prabhupada mentions Abhimanyu's wife Uttara should have followed the path of her husband, but because she was pregnant and Maharaj Parikshit, a great devotee of the Lord, was lying in embryo, she was responsible for his protection. The mother of a child has a great responsibility in giving all protection to the child. And therefore, Uttara was not ashamed to express this frankly before Lord Krishna. So somebody may say that, look, husband is dead, but still the wife is praying for her own protection. But it is not like that. She doesn't want her own protection. She wants the protection of the child within the womb. And she clearly mentions that even if I get burnt by this Brahmastra, it's fine. She doesn't know whether it is Brahmastra. She sees it as a fiery weapon. Uttara, and Uttara's great fortune, great stature in devotional life is mentioned in terms of all her relations. So Uttara was the daughter of a great king, the wife of a great hero, and student of a great devotee. And later, she was the mother of a good king also. She was fortunate in every respect. Now, I need all of your help to see who were these great personalities. Uttara was the daughter of a great king. Who was she daughter of?
Virata.
Yes. Virat, King Virat. Uttara was the daughter of King Virat. Then, hang on, what is mentioned next? Wife of a great hero. That means Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu. Then, student of a great devotee. Arjuna, yes. And mother of a good king. Parikshit Maharaj. So, fortune of Uttara, her stature in devotional service is mentioned by her relationship with all these great personalities who were great devotees of the Lord. Similarly, we also see another great personality, a lady in Srimad Bhagavatam, being glorified because of her connections, because of her relations with various persons in her family. Devahuti. Devahuti is mentioned as the daughter of who? Which great personality? Swayambhuva Manu, and wife of Kardama Muni, another great devotee and mother of Kapila Muni, Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So that was the stature of Uttara. Now, the ghastly act of Ashwatthama, which was actually third of his. Firstly, he killed the children of Pandava. Secondly, he released Brahmastra on Arjuna and the Pandavas. And thirdly, he has released excuse me, Brahmastra on the last remaining successor of the Pandava, the Kuru dynasty. Maybe we'll have this verse or one more verse as the last one. Any devotee wants to recite Hare Krishna?
May I, Prabhuji?
Okay, Prema Priya Manjari Mataji. Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Suta Vacha.
We will recite after you.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Upadharya vachastasya.
Upadharya vachastasya.
Bhagavan Bhaktavatsalaha.
Bhagavan
Bhaktavatsalaha.
Apandavam idam kartum.
Apandavam idam kartum.
Drauner astram abudhyata.
Drauner abudhyata.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Translation?
Yeah, a translation by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Gaji. Suta Goswami said, having patiently heard her words, Lord Sri Krishna, who is always very affectionate to his devotees, would at once understand that Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, had thrown the Brahmastra to finish the last life in the Pandava family. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So the envious nature of Ashwatthama towards the Pandava family, his anger, rage, feeling of revenge, can be understood by the use of the word by Suta Goswami. He wanted to make the word a Pandavana. A Pandavana means he did not want any existence of the Pandavas race to remain in this world. And as a result, to make this happen, he threw Brahmastra, the severest kind of weapon, on the very helpless child. So this is not a very chivalrous activity, that throwing weapon towards a woman who is carrying a child within the womb, and not only throwing towards the woman, but even targeting the child within the womb. It is very, very dastardly and very, very sinful activity from Ashwatthama's side. He wanted to make the world a Pandavana. And Lord Krishna is described here as Bhagavan Bhaktavatsala, who is especially affectionate towards his devotees, who is very much affectionate towards his devotees. We'll go through the purport. The Lord is impartial in every respect, but still he is inclined towards his devotees because there is a great necessity of this for everyone's well-being. The Pandava family was a family of devotees, and therefore the Lord wanted them to rule the world. That was the reason he vanquished the rule of the company of Duryodhan and established the rule of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Therefore, he also wanted to protect Maharaj Parikshit, who was lying in embryo. He did not like the idea that the world should be without the Pandavas, the ideal family of devotees. So now we will go back to the slides to see some of the examples of Lord Krishna, how he goes out of the way to display or to establish his position as Bhaktavatsala, as one who is very, very affectionate towards his devotees. And especially in the previous purport we saw in 188 purport, that Lord is especially very attentive to protection of those devotees who are completely dependent on the Lord. An example is given, just like a father or mother, while they are affectionate towards all children, the youngest child who is still learning to walk, learning to feed, and not yet able to manage himself or herself, the parents are very much attentive to the needs of such child who are totally dependent upon them. Yes, so we'll go through some of the examples to see. Let me see. We will cover few verses and then we go. Gita Pradeep Mataji, you had raised your hand to read. Just read the translation.
Okay, Prabhuji.
12 and 13 both.
Okay. Only translation, right?
Yes.
O foremost among the great thinkers, Munis, Shaunaka, seeing the glaring Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. Yeah, the purport, right?
Yeah, the Almighty
Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, having observed that the great danger was befalling his unallowed devotees, who were fully surrendered souls, at once took up his Sudarshana disk to protect them.
Thank you. Thank you, Manoj. So here, few words are important in these verses which I have highlighted. It is mentioned, where is that statement? Bhakta Vatsalaha. Hang on. Is it?
The verse 11, Prabhu.
Last part in the
11.
paragraph, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yeah, here in text 11, it is mentioned Upadharya Vachastasya Bhagavan Bhakta Vatsalaha. Suta Goswami Singh Uttara approached that personality who is Bhakta Vatsala, who is especially affectionate towards devotee. In what context Lord is protecting his devotees? When everything else is going against them. So here it is mentioned Vyasanam Vikshatat Tesham Ananya Vishayatmanam. The speciality of the Pandavas or the pure devotees is that they were completely dependent on Krishna. Their dependence on Krishna was not conditional. That if Lord protects us, only then we will take shelter. If no protection is coming, we will go to some other devata or other authorities. Sudarshanena swastrena swanam raksham vyadhat vibhu. And Lord Krishna is immediately considering the situation, considering the gravity and urgency of the situation. He is immediately at once ready to take up his Sudarshan disc weapon and to protect Uttara and the child within the womb. Even if the Pandavas were already with their weapons, Krishna knew that urgency is there, and he also knew that they won't be able to counteract this Brahmastra. Also, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions the vow of Krishna, Lord Krishna, to not take up weapon in the war of Kurukshetra. Although the war technically was over, the exact period was still there open because the post-war repercussions were still happening in terms of post-war effect, Ashwatthama attacking Pandavas, Ashwatthama attacking their children. So that conditions for the war were still ongoing. So in that particular situation, Lord Krishna's promise still was binding upon him, which was for Lord Krishna to not pick up his weapon. But what is happening? Lord Krishna is not worried about his own vow or about his own in a way infamy by some unscrupulous person later on, that see, Lord Krishna not just broke his promise one time to protect Arjuna, he's again doing the same thing, breaking his own promise. Why he is breaking his own promise? Because the devotees here are mentioned as Ananya Vishayatmana. Ananya Vishayatmana means the devotees don't know any other object of taking shelter than Lord Krishna. Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Pandavas were 100% dependent on the protection of the Lord, although they were all great warriors themselves. But the Lord neglects even the greatest warriors and also vanquishes them in no time. When the Lord saw that there was no time for the Pandavas to counteract the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, he took up his own weapon, even at the risk of breaking his own vow. Although the battle of Kurukshetra was almost finished, still, according to his vow, he should not have taken up his own weapon. But the emergency was more important than the vow. He is better known as Bhakta Vatsala, or the lover of his devotee, and thus he preferred to continue as Bhakta Vatsala than to be a worldly moralist who never breaks his solemn vow. So here, Lord Krishna is not worried about spoiling his own reputation in terms of breaking his vow, if that is what is needed to protect his devotee. In front of the devotee's protection, he doesn't bother about anything else. So there are many examples, as we see, of Lord exhibiting this quality of being a Bhakta Vatsala. But before that, let's try to understand the Pandavas' position or other pure devotees' position as Ananya Vishayatmana. What does it mean to be Ananya Vishayatmana? It means that a devotee is exclusively dependent on Lord Krishna, and that dependence doesn't mean basically the outcome should happen the way devotee has desired. Even if Lord Krishna is willing for the devotee to be destroyed, the devotee is completely subservient to Lord Krishna's will, as we have given 2 examples here. Can anyone explain what are these examples? Hare Krishna. You can raise your hands. Those devotees who have not spoken, okay. Shama Gopika Mataji, you explain the first one.
Yes, Prabhu. When Durvasa Muni actually took his hair and then he put it in the fire, and then there was a demon came, and then Ambrish Maharaj was just standing there without doing anything and just praying to Krishna. And it happened that, that demon himself got killed, and then the Durvasa Muni, the Sudarshan Chakra came for the protection, and then Durvasa Muni had to run around like the whole universe. He went to Lord Shiva first, and then finally when he went to Lord Vishnu, then Lord Vishnu said that whenever you offend my devotees, you have to go back. You have to take forgiveness from them. I cannot forgive you because I do not have the control. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. And Srimad Bhagavatam specifically mentions that Amrish Maharaj did not budge an inch backwards when the fiery demon was created by Durvasa Muni in anger, in rage towards Maharaj Amrish. So it is not that Amrish Maharaj basically feels that Lord Krishna must protect me. Such devotees are like, there is a beautiful Vaishnava song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur in which he says, Maro bhi, rakho bhi, jo ichha tomar. And what is the next line? Manas deho geho. What is the next line in that? Can anyone see? Manas deho geho, jo kichu mora, ara pilu tua pada, pade nanda kishora. In this he says, Maro bhi, rakho bhi, jo ichha tohar, nitya das prati tua adhikar. That means the devotees, the Ananya Vishayatmana devotees are giving the complete control to Lord Krishna, that if he doesn't want to protect me, that is totally fine. I don't want to go to anybody else. Whatever he wants to do with me, that is Lord Krishna's own prerogative. So I will not go to any other authority, including the Devatas and all. They are completely surrendered. Similarly, the second example, what is the second example? Prabhuji's, Mataji's, any devotee who wants to explain briefly? Was it Gita Mataji who had raised hand? Gita Pradeep Mataji or other devotees?
No, Prabhu, couldn't recollect.
Okay. Ananda Vilas Keshav Prabhu, Hare Krishna. You would like to explain, Prabhuji? What is happening? Or other devotees? Let me see. Manas Raut Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Rajashri Koindala Mataji. Mannat Mataji. What is happening here?
Is it the Takshaka Naga, Prabhu?
No. See, for Takshaka Naga, Parikshit Maharaj was definitely not standing like this. He did not.
Correct.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Lalita Vinodini Mataji.
Parikshit Maharaja was, he had performed that, Ekadashi Vrata, and the next day he was tested by Durvasa Muni by testing his devotion. So he had come to as an Atithi, and he wanted him to be, treated him properly, but then he had to break his fast, and he was taking his own time, taking bath in the river, and he was coming late.
Right. So it was Amrish Maharaj's story, Mataji, which we just discussed, which is photo 1. But I'm asking about second photo, second picture.
The Dakshakas, he was cursed, within 7 days he will be bitten by Dakshaka.
Takshaka, no, this is not Parikshit Maharaj. Maybe I did not give the context because I searched from Google. It's easier for me maybe to guess. This is Dhruva Maharaj. Now with this clue, who can explain what is happening here? For Dhruva Maharaj? Yes, who attacked Dhruva Maharaj? after he was the king? You can try, don't worry about being wrong.
Yakshas.
Yes, yes. Venkata Narasimha Prabhu, you want to explain this?
Yakshas, they have killed his brother.
Yes.
Dhruva's brother.
Uttama.
And in revenge to him, he has gone and fight with them and killed many people. And then Sarvabhauma Manu has come and pacified it.
Yes. So before the pacifying act by Sarvabhauma Manu and then Lord Brahma as well, we see Dhruva Maharaj, when he was fighting the Yakshas, he wanted to annihilate the entire Yaksha clan because of they having killed his brother Uttama. And at one particular point of time, Dhruva Maharaj, he got so overwhelmed by the illusion that was created by the Yakshas that all of a sudden from the sky, snakes started, the rain started coming down, and in the rain, there were snakes basically throwing out fire. There were carnivorous animals like lions and so on. And there were nasty substances that were falling from the sky, including blood, mucus, and all many disgusting substances. And Dhruva Maharaj, he simply did not know what is happening and how to counteract this. And he was basically overwhelmed. And along with that, Bhagavatam also mentions that there was a cloud of arrows, almost 900,000 yakshas, each releasing tens and hundreds of arrows. So Dhruva Maharaj was completely overwhelmed by this attack by yakshas. And it is explained just like a sun becomes overshadowed by clouds from our vision. All the devatas and the great sages who were watching from the higher planetary systems, they thought, alas, Dhruva is gone. And Dhruva Maharaj, in that particular circumstances, rather than being overwhelmed by it, he closed his eyes and meditated within the heart on Lord Krishna. What is this and how should I counteract it? And then subsequently, it is explained that just like the sun rises above the clouds and shines brightly, Dhruva Maharaj came out of this cloud of all the arrows and all the illusion that was created by the yakshas and started basically attacking and killing them left, right, and center again. And almost entire yaksha race was about to be annihilated when the pacifying act of Dhruva Maharaj was done by Brahmaji. Basically, in a mild way, he scolded Dhruva that, dear Dhruva, this is not fair. One yaksha killed a brother of yours and you want to kill the entire yaksha race? Enough is enough. Whatever yakshas have been killed, that is sufficient. You don't have to punish the yakshas furthermore. They are also living entities. They are also Lord's children and they also have right to live. So you can't finish them all. And then Dhruva Maharaj immediately became subservient to Lord Brahma's will. So the point here is, when the devotee is overwhelmed, he by natural instinct goes towards Lord Krishna for protection. Just like a child who is completely dependent on the parents, he or she will naturally go towards the parent. But the devotee's devotion is not like, if Krishna doesn't offer me protection, let me go to Lord Shiva, let me go to Lord Brahma, let me go to other devatas. Not like that. Any question, comment? Prabhuji's, Mataji's here. Hare Krishna. We will take a pause. We'll stop here today and we'll continue in the next session. So there are around 2 more verses to go before we start with prayers of Queen Kunti. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Next week we cover the prayers of Kunti.
Yes, yes,
Kunti.
yes.
It's up to which verse, Prabhuji?
It is from 1:8:18 till 1:8:43. So you can come well, total 26 verses. Okay. And Rasaragini Mataji will see which of these are for the recitation, but we can try and at least try to recite all, even looking at the book. These prayers are very important. Okay. 43, yeah. 1:8:18 till 43. Hare Krishna. So if there are no other questions, comments, we will stop here for today. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavat Vipin Vilas Prabhuji. Yes, Vipin
Then
Vilas
stop,
Prabhu.
stop the recording.
Yes, I will stop.